Inside Foos presents FoosTalk Live. Covering the 2021 Tornado National Championships, we are traveling to the mile-high city, Denver, Colorado, with FoosTalk Live. It's FoosTalk Live.
You talking to me?
Compelling and lively banter.
Are you going to talk to us?
Talking foosball.
Foosball was how I measured my value as a man. You took that away.
Players and fans, promoters and pros. Unedited and raw.
Talk.
Living in the moment.
We have a lot of important things to talk about.
All while practicing social distancing.
Cool. We'll talk. No big whoop.
Let's get this thing started. FoosTalk Live. Coming to you live from the studios of Inside Foos and live from Denver. It's the 63rd episode of FoosTalk Live. Hey there, I'm Tom Robinson, brought to you tonight by InsideFoos.com, offering monthly subscriptions with access to some of the most exciting matches ever recorded, plus live tournaments, pre- and post-show analysis, interviews, and original programming. Sign up now at InsideFoos.com. Also brought to you by ProtectoFlex, the world's premier safety accessory. Go to ProtectoFlex-Flex.com. Brought to you by 518 Prints, one of the best printers of promotional items, t-shirts, hoodies, and foosball apparel. Visit 518prints.com. Brought to you by Foosballers, the movie. This Joe Hestlinger foosball documentary is now available as a worldwide download at foosballersthemovie.com. Also brought to you by the United States Table Soccer Organization, the USTSO, helping to usher in a new era of competitive foosball. Become a member at usafoosball.com. And also brought to you by Foosball Clubs USA, promoting foosball through school systems all over the United States. Visit foosballclubsusa.com and make a donation today. Well, hey there, it's Tom Robinson. We are together again for FoosTalk Live, an abbreviated version, I must admit, this evening, simply because we are not only live here from the Inside Foos studios, but also live from Denver, where, Mark Torres and Jim Stevens have been hanging out this weekend, doing some play-by-play and enjoying themselves, to say the least. I understand thus far the tally of players, well over 300 players at the 2021 Tornado National Foosball Championships in Denver, Colorado. Lots of action going on, and we do have some, shall we say, some reminiscences already about the weekend. It's been an intense week. Beginning on Wednesday, players from all over have been battling it out. Let's revisit some of the highlights. First, from Friday, it's the Open Mixed Doubles quarterfinals on Table 1 with Sullivan Rue and Kevin Romero versus Kane Gabriel and Dusty Bambanek. Here's Inside Foos commentators Jim Stevens with Adam Gilson.
Dusty showing him the split, took it away. Rebound does come back to Kevin.
I'd
Go with a straight. That straight would have worked if you had waited 2 or 3 more seconds. Stuffed back into the goal by Gabriel.
I would love to know Dusty's percentages this match. She's just playing so smart.
It's match point for Gabriel and Bambanek. That's what, 3 stuffs of Gabriel on Rue, and somehow Sully keeps that one out, but it bounces to the 3.
When everything's working, it just comes to you. It's got a little magnet.
And there it is. What a performance by Kane Gabriel and Dusty Bambanek as they hold off Kevin Romero and Sullivan Rue to advance to the semifinals in mixed doubles. Outstanding match again here on table number 1, Adam Gilson.
Yeah, no, that was amazing. That was just to recap, Dusty was solid and provided the foundation for Kane. You saw it right at the end after he scored to have that zone. He was in that zone we talk about.
Yeah.
He was there. He was operating outside of his body, and he was present at the same time. It was a beautiful thing to watch.
And he was between his head as well, I think.
Yeah, that's trademark as well, so that's another 50 cents.
Dang it.
Yeah. So thank you for getting me my coffee tomorrow.
Then on Saturday, in women's doubles, in the losers bracket finals, Midori Kimura and Sully Rue versus Tracy Brubaker and Amy Powers. Here's Inside Foos commentators Mark Torres and Adam Gilson.
There was this sharp split. It was there.
That was a. Sorry, go ahead.
No. Was it right out?
It was like I don't even know what. It wasn't a straight split. It was like a near side split.
Yeah,
I don't know what the term is for that. Inside split,
Short split.
by design.
It's a beauty brush down. Tracy's got there. This quick start from Midori, scoring 3 and then putting the ball on her 3 bar with passes, slowly getting getting the ball in her 5-bar and pushing it through. Wow, great save by Midori. And Midori puts another one on goal.
Chris Lopez, you're about to forfeit your match.
Push side effort block, Midori. It's got a little fear in them from all the scoring and all the stuff on goal. There's a push kick. That's the one shot that Tracy looks like she's looking for. A pass to the 5-bar via Tracy's 5-bar and Sullivan. The long was there, and that's the end of it, ladies and gentlemen. It looked closer than it was.
Yeah, it did. It did, but once they found their groove, and of course, once Midori decided to just take control, it was pretty much almost a done deal.
Yep, so this is where it's the finals coming up. Tracy giving them a big hug, wishing them good luck. It's going to be Midori Kimura and Sullivan Rue with a second shot at Stacy Fowler and Shelley Langley, who are in the winner's side waiting for this match to happen. And we'll have that match coming up.
And earlier today, Tony Sprademan and Rob Morris versus Terry Rue and Kevin Romero in open doubles. Here's Inside Foos commentators Jim Stevens with Adam Gilson.
Kevin Romero was 0 for 4 shooting it up until that one. Chance to put it away right here for Sprademan. For the win, Tony Sprademan. Rimmed off the post, bounces back to Tony, who will reset against Rue. And up into the air off the corner of the goal, and then right back down and in. Tough way to end it, as Tony Sprademan and Robert Mares close the deal here in game number 4 and advance to yet another open doubles final as they defeat Kevin Romero and Terry Rue, who now await the winner of a match taking place over on table number 2. That's streamed to, folks, if you want to head over there.
And there you have it. A few highlights of what has been happening in Denver, Colorado this weekend at the 2021 Tornado National Championships. Lots of activities still to come. In fact, our very own Jim Stevens is there as we speak. He is getting ready to call some more matches this weekend. It's not over yet, but Jim, are you faring well? Are you still standing?
Yeah, Tom, it's been a long weekend, as they always seem to be, but I'm feeling pretty good. It's been a lot of fun. There's been great energy in the room. Of course, as you said, more than 300 players and some great action.
Yes.
A lot of great stories coming out of this weekend. So that kind of keeps you going and keeps you feeling fresh. Now, tomorrow, of course, I'm sure I'll head home and crash for 3 days, as if I could really do that, of course, with 2 small children. But I'm dreaming about possibly doing that again someday. But no, it's really been a lot of fun. It's super to see everybody out and about again. And in this part of the country, there is such a deep tradition of foosball, such a great history. And
Sure.
We've seen some of that as well. Some of the old timers from the Denver area have popped their heads in. We've run into Mike Bowers and Bob Maloney, of course, both of whom have been guests on the show.
Cool.
Kevin Everson, Mark Rudnicki, lots of the great old timers here this weekend as well. And some great action. Tony Sprademan, of course, singles and doubles again, as he has done so many times.
Yes.
But a great weekend of action. Still some more to come. Actually, I awarded the doubles title to Tony a little too soon. He has won the winner's bracket with Robert Mares, but still a little work to be done before
Still
they
in
determine
contention?
who they will play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So,
when do you figure the finals for the open doubles will take place?
I'm thinking maybe in about an hour and a half. We still have the losers bracket final, which is going to be Serge Aragonis and James Castillo against Kevin Romero and Terry Rue.
Okay.
The winner of that, of course, will face Tony Sprademan and Robert Mares in the final. And so right now we've got a pro doubles match on table 1. In fact, if you don't have your subscription, head over there and get that, while keeping FoosTalk live in your ear, of course.
Yes.
But
of
we've
course.
got Brandon Munoz is playing again. And Brandon Munoz has been one of the big stories of this weekend. The outstanding Costa Rican player.
Right.
Has been spectacular with a second-place finish in open singles. He won pro singles, doing well in pretty much everything he plays, and doing it in that unique Costa Rican high-speed style.
Well, it seems like the Costa Ricans have had a great weekend in general. Not just Kevin and of course his housemate, but yeah, these guys have been doing really, really well this weekend.
They have. Brandon Munoz was second in open singles. Kevin Romero was third in open singles. Romero and Rue still alive in doubles, and Munoz and his partner Carlos Cespedes, who is Kevin Romero's father, finished fourth in open doubles. So yes, the Costa Ricans have done very, very well here this weekend.
It seems it's becoming a pattern because we noticed the same sort of thing happening in Texas as well.
Yes, we did. Both Kevin and Brandon had great weekends there as well. And these are two of the real rising stars on the professional tour, no question about it.
Right.
Two guys that come out of a system. And I talked about this on the air. I always pictured all these great Costa Rican players, these young players down in a garage in San Juan or in San Jose, Costa Rica. Playing all night, every night in this steamy, no air conditioning garage. Just because when you watch these players, all of the Costa Ricans, whether it's at the top end with Munoz and with Romero, or down to some of the experts, really good experts and amateurs, you can tell that they have spent a lot of time on tables. There's a lot of they are so good at catching loose balls. The ball handling is impeccable.
Yep.
Execution percentage is very high, and that's a sign that they spend a lot of time on a table.
Oh,
so I always do like to picture those steamy nights down in Costa Rica playing foosball.
So maybe they're taking the hours to 15,000 instead of just 10,000, 15,000, but without air conditioning.
Correct. That's right. That's right. So
I love hearing the stories. Of course, another recurring theme, Sullivan Rue doing really well once again this weekend with Midori Kimura. Just love the fact these two are getting to be, the talk of the town every time they appear at a tournament these days.
They really are, and Sully in particular, who it seems to be even better than when we saw her a month ago. Although she and her partner Midori lost just maybe half an hour ago.
Okay.
In the women's doubles final, they came from the loser side, won the first set against former world champions Stacey Fowler and Shelley Langley. Went to a second set, and they were in control for most of it until the final game when Stacey Fowler and Shelley Langley turned it around and came back and won the championship.
Wow.
And it was a disappointing loss for Sully in particular.
Sure.
But in women's singles, Sully finished first, Midori finished second. And really, Sullivan Rue's singles game is extraordinary. Obviously, she's got the great push shot from forward, great push shot from goal, but her transition game is remarkable. It is incredible, actually. As good as any lady I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe right there with Cindy Head, and that's how good it is. And so Sullivan Rue may not lose a singles event all year long. She is that good.
No kidding. Yeah. No, she really is truly amazing. I think it's, again, these recurring themes we're starting to see with these newer players. And it's so shall we say, encouraging to see the next generation really starting to make their move.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. And of course, in Texas, it was about Tommy Yore, the great young player out of Florida. But we're seeing this weekend, there were quite a few junior players here. John O'Brien, the president of Foosball Clubs USA, was here. Sandy Lueris, who runs the local youth program, brought in. There were several kids, several young players, several players I'd never seen before.
Really?
Young man out of Minneapolis here, a 14-year-old young man named Jacob Balkos. Really played well, played on table number one in open doubles and took a game off of, I believe it was Kane Gabriel and his partner.
Nice.
In doubles. And it was great to see the young players. And it's something I think we're seeing as we come out of COVID, of course, with what's been going on with John O'Brien. And the young have arrived, and I think it's a theme we're going to continue to see tournament in and tournament out.
Well, this is only just good for everybody. When it comes to just expanding this sport, getting more players, younger players, and better players, challenging the old guard. I love that.
Yeah, no doubt about it. We need the influx of young players. There seems to be a real excitement with everyone. And of course, it's a tribal thing. We have these young players. So the entire community kind of embraces them and wants them to do well and follows them and cheers for them. And it's really, really a really great thing to see. And of course, the maturity of other players. Brandon Munoz, we talked about.
Sure.
Sullivan Rue, of course. And others who are really starting to make a name for themselves in the sport of table soccer.
Can we talk about my fave, Sammy Dijon?
There's another one, of course.
Did some great work this weekend. I mean, not as good as he would probably have liked to have done, but not bad at all. And
no, not bad at all. Had a pretty nice top 10 finish in pro singles, and I think did pretty well in some of the other events as well. Great match early in the weekend. And if you're not a subscriber at InsideFoos.com, please do go over there and get it, because one of the matches you're going to want to see is Sullivan Rue versus Sam Dijon.
Yes.
And again, Sully jumped on him early with an incredible performance in the first game. Sam came back in the second game and then ended up holding on to it and beating her in game number 3.
And I got to say, that really showed to me, I mean, because I've known Sam since he was, 7, 8 years old. And I remember, how difficult it was for him to focus sometimes when it came to playing early on, like most kids. But the maturity I saw as he took on Sullivan, he took himself through timeouts at appropriate moments where he had critical, like his match point, I believe it was in the 3rd game. He took a critical timeout, where in the past he wouldn't have done that. He really matured.
Yeah, no question about it. And we're seeing the beginning of that table management, which he needs. His skills are there. Of course, his skills are extraordinary. Right. But you got to be able to use those skills. And he's starting to really show that. And, of course, he's coming into an age now. What is he, 13, 14?
13.
Where life is also going to be a factor. And,
sure.
And we'll see how he handles that. We'll see whether or not the drive continues to be great. And if it does, I think we're looking at a future star, unquestionably. But that continues to be a great story as well. And what a talented young man he is.
Now, I know it's kind of an easy thing to predict, but who are you going to pick tonight for the open doubles?
Well, I'm going to pick Spreadman and Morris to win it.
Okay.
But who are they going to play? That's the question.
Right.
It's Kevin Romero and Terry Rue who have played very well together. But then you got these guys from California, Sergio Aragones and James Castillo, who don't necessarily get out on tour a whole lot.
Sure.
And sometimes it takes them a couple days of a tournament to get rolling. But once they do, they are tough as nails. These are 2 fighters on the table, highly skilled fighters, of course. So, at this stage, I think there's a pretty good chance that we see Serge and James in the final.
Okay.
But there's also a pretty good chance it's going to be Romero and Rue.
Yeah.
Who will eventually, I believe, lose to Spreadman and Morris.
Well, Morris and Spreadman have not played together that often, have they?
No, they haven't. When they do play, they tend to win. Obviously Tony, and if you've ever seen the interview from Moneyball earlier this year, when we talked to Tony about his choices as far as partners,
sure,
much of it based on business and the financial side of things. We understand that his reasoning behind not playing with Morris, but when he does play with Rob, they tend to win. And I've talked about it on the air. I think we've talked about it here on FoosTalk Live as well.
Yes.
If Tony Spreadman and Rob Morris had played together on a consistent basis throughout the years, I think you're looking at another 2, 3, 4 world championships for Tony and Rob as a doubles team. And maybe we're talking about them as possibly the second greatest team of all time. Right. As it is, they're still in the conversation. Well, as far as top 4, but
I mean, it's not too late because you look at Freddie and Todd, they being the number 1 pairing of all time. I think Tony and Rob would certainly have a run at that for sure.
Yeah, they need a few more titles. It's as simple as that. I mean, when you watch they passed the eyeball test probably as maybe number 2. Of course, sure. You've got to consider Dave Gummison, Tracy McMillan, who have won 3 world championships, 3 national championships together. And you got to talk about the great teams of the 70s, Jim Wiswell and Doug Furry being the prime example of a great 70s team. But I think if Rob and Tony, and especially if they can get another multi-table world championship, maybe next year in Nantes, and win a couple of more Tornado World Championships, I think you'd have to probably pencil them in and maybe even use a pen to put them in at number 2.
So give us an idea as far as World Cup competition is concerned next year. What does this particular competition help towards points? Does it count towards the World Cup?
It does, of course. This is a sanctioned event, so it'll count for points for all of the pro players here. But there are also lots of qualifying events. If you win the senior events here, the junior events here, and a couple of others, if you win those, you qualify to compete at the World Championships next year in Nantes, France. And I want to say there's 6 or 8 at least qualifiers here this weekend.
Okay.
And several players and several teams are now eligible to compete next year.
Oh, nice. That's very cool. So that is really sincerely underway, although it's a bit abbreviated from previous years because, of course, of COVID.
Yeah, it's had to be, of course. We just don't have as much time to qualify players. So, that's why I think we had so many qualifiers here at the Nationals. And there'll be some at some of the future events as well as we lead into next year's event, which about a year away in France.
So Jim, I was just going to say, talk to us briefly about this weekend's competition, the North American Cup. What was going on there? That looked pretty exciting.
It was exciting. It's kind of it's not the World Cup, but it's similar to that. And what they do is they put teams together, 7 to 8 person teams, that include a master, a pro, an expert, an amateur, rookie, a beginner, a woman, and then they have you play 8 matches, and eventually the winners of that event, the team event. This year won by California, by the way.
California, yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, California won it, and it was very exciting. And any team event, no matter what, is going to be fun and exciting because you're playing for your state in this case, and you're playing for your teammates, and you're cheering for them, and it really does create a really exciting atmosphere, and it was a lot of fun.
Do I have to say, I mean, I really kind of wished I was there for that because I love the fact that everybody was there cheering for one another. That was really cool. It was that's unfortunately a rare moment these days, as you and I have talked about quite a bit with Mark about the fact that people are kind of quiet.
Yeah, and we've talked about the reason for that as well. A lot of times people are heading to the stands to kind of relax. The format as it is can be grueling. Yeah, these are marathons, right?
Right.
And so players are tired. But also, you got to kind of have a horse in the race, so to speak.
Yep.
Once the club system gets going, I can envision, players from the various clubs all attending these tournaments and wearing their shirts and their gear.
Oh, yeah.
And cheering for their fellow club members. But there has to be something bigger than yourself at stake. There has to be, you're cheering for your fellow club member, your fellow state resident, your countryman, whatever.
Yeah.
Also, we've had some cheering this weekend with some of these matches that have been super exciting with great plays, and it kind of has to happen organically. It isn't something that you can force. And we just have to create the environment that allows us to organically create excitement. And we're working on that at Inside Foods, I promise you.
There you go. Well, there's a nice hint. I like that. And if you've missed any of the coverage this weekend, InsideFoods.com is the place to go. It really is amazing. You can choose from any of the days so far that have taken place. Now, I understand play started on Wednesday, so that's unusual. How often does that happen with a tournament?
Well, every once in a while at a nationals, more often at a world championship event. World Cup is often 7 days long. Tornado Worlds is 5 or 6 days long.
Wow.
And, things sort of get ramped up. Some of the senior events in this case and other lower level events were held early in the weekend. But when you have 47 events at a tournament, which is what this one has, this is the most events I've ever seen at a tournament.
Yeah, no doubt.
Many of which were single elimination. And in fact, we're in pretty good shape. We're not going to be here that late tonight, which I think was the fear when you're looking at 47 events and 41 tables. You're thinking maybe, we're going to be here pretty late. But no, it's been run beautifully by IFP and staff. And many of the events were single elimination, which helps.
Right.
And so, but there are events that, tournaments that do have 4, 5, 6 day schedules.
Well, I'm always curious to know, especially when you're there, on the scene. Was there anything that really surprised you during this tournament this weekend?
Surprise, I don't know that I was necessarily super surprised about anything. I've been really encouraged again by the young players that are here this weekend, by the growth of some of the existing players as well. And so, but as far as surprises go, no, I guess I was a little surprised that Mark Torres wasn't better at commentary than he showed. Don't tell him I said that.
Mark's not listening. I would never tell him that. I would never tell him
that. What's up, freaks?
What's going on, Mark? So, are you home in Chicago now, or are you still in Denver?
No, man, no. So my dear friends Serge and James are at third place. I can't leave early.
Oh.
I can't leave early, so I pushed my flight out. My flight now is at 5:35 a.m. So I will leave here at like 3:30 a.m. or earlier to get to the airport at 4 a.m. Yeah.
Really? That's awesome.
So Mark, you're just staying up all night, right?
Yeah, East Side San Jose, staying up all night. That's what I'm doing, man.
Love it.
That's right. So while I'm tearing down all that equipment at about 2 a.m. tonight, you're going to be partying and having a good time.
I'll be blackout drunk headed to the airport, Jim.
Nice. That sounds great.
Hey.
I really don't want you touching any cables anyway with when you're blackout drunk.
Jim, let me tell you, one thing that happens to me when I've been drinking is I turn into a klepto. So if you end up with cables missing, they're in my pockets, okay? They're in my pockets, bro.
That's all right. Yeah. So I don't doubt that. And that's actually okay with me. You can have my cables No problem.
You know,
I'm
I
happy to give you my cables.
I like Bose headsets too. That's my other
Wait a
Bose
minute. Slow down
headsets.
now, buddy.
I got a fetish for Bose headsets.
No, I mentioned that we actually allowed Mark to do a little play-by-play this weekend.
Yes.
First time ever, really. He and Adam Gilson worked a couple of matches. I know you had an audio clip of that.
Yep.
Mark, tell us a little bit about what that was like, buddy.
Okay, I know I don't typically show Jim any respect at all for anything, but let me tell you what, play-by-play is a beast of its own nature, and I have a massive respect. All I can hope to do is do my own little type of description of activities without all the nuance that Jim has. So yeah, it's not easy, and I'm not very good at it. So I try to do a little bit and do my own little style and add. And it's too much color hybrid. I have a lot to work on, but it's fun. I enjoyed it. I don't know. What'd you think, Jim? Still there?
Yeah, he's here. I got to say, I can chime in here because I watched the match that you commentated. I thought that was you and Adam. Trade a lot of barbs there.
Hold on, Jim's audio is bad for me. Jim, your audio is crazier for me. Your audio went south.
Yeah, well, I didn't say anything, Mark. Maybe that's why. I haven't said a word. I haven't said a word in about 35, 40 seconds. Not since you came on the air, really. So.
Well, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Tom. Jim's mechanical voice screwed up. Talk to me. What were you saying, Tom?
No. I just have to say that it was fun to watch you playing a pickup against Miriam Ali on, I think it was table 3.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
That's
looked like
hilarious.
fun.
That's
I thought
hilarious.
she was going to beat you into the ground.
I was shooting my wrist pull kick.
Yeah.
For that now.
She is a way, way better player than Mark is, and I think she proved it in that match.
Oh yeah,
over on table number 3.
You didn't even see it. You didn't even see it. It was on table number 2, by the way.
Okay.
And I beat her. I beat Miriam. I beat her.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Barely.
Whatever. So anyway, Tom, as we try to bring this thing back to an actual radio show, it really has been an outstanding weekend of table soccer. There's no doubt about it. Again, that same kind of vibe that we had in Texas, where everybody's so happy to be out and seeing their friends and competing.
Yes,
that's been part of it. But also that high level of competition, fierce competition. People are really bringing it. I mean, we had a match yesterday with Serge Aragonis and James Castillo against Tony Spredeman and Robert Maras, where Tony. And I mean, Aragonis was screaming, and Tony really kind of I wouldn't say he got mad, but he got fired up, right, Mark?
Really?
Oh, yeah. Well, Serge and I have been talking about this today, and yeah, we got Tony's A+ game. But guess what? Serge was playing his A+ game, and what we talked about today is if he gets another crack at Tony, he's going to do the same thing. He's going to do the same thing.
Yeah.
He can't worry about bringing out the best in Tony. He has to worry about bringing the best out of himself. Unfortunately, that comes with Tony bringing his fireball. He's going to start throwing fastballs. So you want fastballs, you're going to get them. Mm-hmm. So if Serge is fortunate, Serge is at 3rd place. If he wins this match, he's going to be in the finals. If he's in the finals, he's going to come out screaming and fist pumping, and he's ready for what's going to come at him. It's going to get hot. Trust me, it's going to get very, very hot.
Mark, are you going to be joining the commentary for that match?
Yes, sir. And I think we'll have Adam too.
Oh, nice.
We'll probably have both of us in there. Yeah.
Adam's doing a great job this weekend.
He is, isn't he? This is the first weekend we've had Adam Gilson working with us, and I think he's been awesome. I think he's been really good. Very, very smart, really knows the game. Has a great history, a second-generation player. Been a real pleasure working with Adam this weekend as well.
Yeah, it's outstanding. The coverage in general has been a lot of fun, and I got to say, it just makes me long to be there.
Yeah, for sure. We got to get you back to a tournament, Tom. I know how much fun you had at Texas, and maybe Tornado Championships over Labor Day. Hopefully, we'll get you down there.
Yeah, I think the World Championships, I'll be able to make that one for sure. Well, guys,
perfect.
Yeah, Mark, anything that you want to mention other than the fist bumping, Serge? Anything else you want to mention as far as intense moments?
Well, Sullivan just lost the women's doubles final to Shelley Langley and Stacey Fowler. And, I don't think the rules would mind me saying this. She took it very, very hard, but that's the competitor in her.
Right.
And, I was with her for just a few moments, and she had not stopped feeling very, very badly about it. However, they called her up on another match. And when I was with her, they called her up on another match, and that was her calling that she didn't have time anymore. She didn't have time anymore to wallow in that lost. She had to go play a match, and she has to be in the moment, in that ball.
Yes.
And that's how she left my presence and that of Christina Fuchs going over to a table to play a match. So, yeah, Sullivan was not perfect this weekend. She played lights out amazing. It was second set last game. I think it was 5-3 in the third game.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it was, yep. And, man, so Sullivan Ruth continues. So she, wow, did we talk about Sullivan versus Midori in women's singles? Did you guys talk about that?
Not yet. I mean, it was that matchup again that we saw at Texas, and again it was Sully coming out on top, and Sullivan in singles. Her singles game is better than her forward game.
Right.
At this stage, her singles game is phenomenal. Her transition game, her ability to shoot from the 2-rod, her 5. Phenomenal singles player. I'm not sure, like I told you earlier, Tom. I'm not sure Sully's going to lose a singles competition all year.
Interesting. She's got that drive. She has the need to win.
Yeah, she sure does.
Well, I'm going to be very direct. She wiped the floor with Midori. She wiped the floor with her. Midori, the 2-time women's singles defending Tornado champion, could not keep up. Sully came out like a freight train and did not slow down, attacked the goal from her 2-rod and her 3-rod, scored, and never gave – Midori couldn't catch her breath.
Wow.
And so Sully went from it having a competitive win over Midori at Texas State to having a blowout win here at the Nationals.
No kidding.
Yeah, she's on a fireball trajectory.
What is it about Sullivan's push shot that is so difficult to stop? I mean, it's to me, I mean, mostly if I'm playing defense, I prefer to block a push shooter rather than a pull shooter. But what makes her push shot so successful?
I'll say like 3 things. So first of all, when you've been shooting it as long as she has, the time from conscious thought to execution becomes infinitesimal. So now her rate of execution is just it's unconscious. It's just instant. What she does very, very well though, and you cannot be on all 3 holes.
Right.
You cannot be on the straight, the middle, and the long. But what she does imperceptibly, instantaneously, is she chooses between the long and 3/4, and she's not guessing. So when she's hammering her long, and she knows you're going to be on the long because her muscle memory in her mind about where your men are going to be, she could choose the 3/4, and when she snaps that 3/4 off, now you're in no man's land.
Right.
Now she's going to get long 3/4. She could throw check straights at you and get blocked, and she goes back to the long and 3/4, and she obliterates everybody.
Yeah.
She obliterates everybody.
Notice
that.
Very
difficult.
Best push shot in the world right now.
Yeah,
I think
no
so.
kidding.
I agree.
No,
Yeah.
She's quite extraordinary. Yep.
Well, she's long overdue to be a guest here in FoosTalk Live. We've got to get her and maybe the entire family together.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun. Yep, for sure. Yeah, Tom, I think we've got to get back to work here. We've still got a few matches to do, and if those of you listening out there would like to watch and you don't have your subscription, go get it at InsideFoos.com. I think we're going to end up with more than 100, 110 matches here this weekend that will be available after the fact, and of course you can watch it live as well.
Oh, that's a fantastic value for the price of subscription. That is amazing, and I got to say, I really enjoyed the coverage, guys. Keep it up. Looking forward to more. Can't wait to see the open doubles finals. That's going to be really cool. But and of course everything else that's going on, and of course, Mark, I know that when you go home, you'll be weaving as fast as you possibly can to get back to your family. But
yes, sir.
Yeah, looking forward to hearing more from you, guys. Any other parting shots when it comes to Denver and the 2021 National Championships?
I'll just say it's been a great time, Tom. Thank you for having us on the show once again, and I'm looking forward to the next time. That's really all I got for now.
Awesome. And
I think we've pretty much encapsulated it, I think, pretty well. It's been an exciting event. It's been a great event, great energy in the room, and certainly some really high-end competition. I think the future looks bright for the sport. No question about it.
No doubt about it. Well, thank you so much for being there, guys. Wish I could be with you, but perhaps next time. But thanks for jumping on live from Denver, Colorado, for the 2021 National Championships of Foosball. We'll be back together again next week. week on FoosTalk Live. Thanks for tuning in this evening. And don't forget to go to InsideFoos.com and follow the rest of the coverage this weekend in Denver, Colorado. Till next time.
FoosTalk Live is a product of Inside Foos. All rights reserved. Brought to you in part by InsideFoos.com. 518 Prince. Foosballers, the movie. Foosball Clubs USA. And the USTSO. Tune in again next week for another episode of FoosTalk Live.
In the meantime,
We'll see you foozin'.